Hello there everyone, my name is Mathew McKenna and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at YUNGBLUD. Now I've seen this name pop up so many times in my comment section and I thought, hey, let's finally get around to it. Normally with my reactions, I haven't heard their music or anything, but at least I have like some idea who they are. I've heard of them before, you know? But with YUNGBLUD, the only reason I know his name is because of my comment section. So this is a whole new world that I'm delving into. So I guess I'm excited. I'm a little scared, but I'm excited. Before we start though, if you're new here, make sure you click subscribe and enable notifications so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Okay, so the first song is called I Think I'm Okay, and it has Machine Gun Kelly, whose name I know because of the whole thing with Eminem, and Travis Barker, who's the drummer from Blink-182. All right, I'm keen. I'll be honest, straight off the bat, I didn't expect acoustic guitar, especially with the people involved. I kind of expected something electric, maybe rocky. I mean, hey, it's not like unwelcome.
Catch me, I'm the one on the run away from the headlights.
There are so many tattoos in this frame, in so many places I didn't expect them to. She had tattoos on her eyelids. How do you get that and not be absolutely terrified? Oh my gosh. Wait, this doesn't look like this guy. Is this Machine Gun Kelly? Oh my god, I'm gonna sound like an idiot if it's not. I've only seen, what's that music video where he disses Eminem, the diss track? Rap Devil, that's what it was called. That's the only So that was an interesting introduction. I don't really have all that many thoughts on that. It was fine. Like, it didn't really blow me away or anything, but you know, I didn't hate it. That sounds like it's an insult, but it's really not. It was just fine. I am, however, interested to see what he's like by himself. So our next song is called Parents.
Was born in a messed up.
This is an entirely different feel to the last one. This is bizarre. A little surreal, if I'm honest. Up with the giant clock, bro.
I bought a carburetor at age 16. I brush my teeth with bleach cause I ain't got time for cavities.
I hope that no one hates me for this, but his delivery here a little bit reminds me of 21 Pilots, specifically Stressed Out. There's just something about that melody and the delivery that reminds me a lot of that song.
My daddy put a gun to my head. Said if you kiss a boy, I'm gonna shoot you dead. So I tied him up with gaffer tape and locked him in a shed. Then I went out to the garden and I fucked my best friend.
That's a lot to unpack. I mean, you do you, but geez, that's very heavy to be said so casually in a song like that. I'm shook. Like I said, there's just so much going on in this video. It's certainly interesting. He's out in the front yard in his tidy whities with like an AK. I appreciate the sentiment here, of course, because I like that there's a song about like how old-fashionable opinions aren't just valid because they're old. Just because something's been around for a long time, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct. That's an attitude that so many people seem to adopt. So I appreciate this call out.
It's hard to get an erection when you're so used to rejection. Yeah, the teacher fucked the preacher, but then he had to leave. I had to wash your
These lyrics. What have you guys gotten me to react to? We're family friendly here, guys. I also appreciate that like the old school emo, punk, grunge looks are coming back in style. That works very well for me, the guy that hasn't stopped wearing skinny jeans for like 10 years. So thank you, YUNGBLUD, and thank you other people like Billy and like other artists for bringing that back. I wish I had a fully formed opinion I could tell you, but my brain is kind of reeling from what I just watched, so it's a little hard for me to formulate a proper opinion. I will say one thing for sure though, and that is that I was not bored at any point in that music video. Alright, let's move on to the next one called Medication.
Doctor says that I'm so lonely. A mistake on the painting of my family.
Hold on, is he English? I didn't even notice until like just now. He is English. He's from South Yorkshire. There you go. I wouldn't have guessed that from the last song.
Give me a grenade and I'll tape it to my face. Getting drunk at 1:45.
I can only assume this is a song about antidepressants. I really liked that visual of like after he took one, everything turned colorful and bright. It was a really interesting transition and obviously a nice visual metaphor. Really cool. One thing I have found interesting about this song and the last song is that he doesn't seem to be afraid to hone in on one particular subject. I've said this before, but I feel like when people are specific about what they're singing about, songs are more interesting. I guess what I'm saying with this is like, I find it more interesting to hear someone sing about like wanting to take their medication or the impact that antidepressants or whatever medication has on them versus just like singing about, say, depression in general. I think when you really target in, you can actually say so much more than if you just try to keep it broad, you know?
Doctor says don't fight that feeling.
It's very cool that everything is like super caricatured. Nothing's just like a bit crazy or a bit scary. It's like 100% one or the other. Again, that just comes down to really interesting visual metaphors. I don't know if he has a hand in directing his music videos, but this one is a really cool video concept.
I'm black, why you shouting at me?
This is not relevant to his music, but like, he has an extremely expressive face.
I just wanna fly now, I just wanna fly now.
This is the face of someone that's just realized how much this song is gonna be in his head later on.
You cannot pretend there's no dirt on your shirt, 'cause that's not how it works.
I feel like that dirt on your shirt line refers to how people seem to think that mental illness is like two extremes of the spectrum and that's it. Either you are completely healthy or you are absolutely like devastatingly unhealthy. And forget that there's a whole spectrum in between, which oftentimes means that the people who end up berating people for being mentally ill or whatever are actually a bit mentally ill themselves. They just might not know it, or they might not want to admit it or pursue treatment, etc, etc.
I just wanna fly now.
I'll tell you what, it's a very weird thing to both really like and really dislike a music video. That song was catchy as hell. I actually quite liked the song itself. The music video was a super interesting concept, executed quite well, but also just like weirdly uncomfortable and unpleasant at times. I totally understand that that's the point, but it doesn't make it any less uncomfortable for me. Alright, so the last song we're going to listen to is called 11 Minutes. It was written by YUNGBLUD and Halsey, and actually features Travis Barker again. Let's do it. I wonder if this is going to be like a super serious song. I was kind of hoping that the ticking clock would continue to be part of the beat, but it seems like it's faded out completely.
I'm 11 minutes away, so why don't you hear?
I feel like when I first started that reaction video I did to Halsey, I was a little bit undecided on her voice, but I've decided I quite like it. I know that quite a few people seem to have like an issue with her voice, but I think it's an interesting, nice voice, and she just hits nice, clean notes.
I'm just taking all these steps up in your mind.
More really cool visuals, especially that zero gravity car stuff.
I'm sorry, there was no one to apologize.
I'm so fucking sorry.
I just realized it was going through the 5 stages of grief, because first it was denial, now it's anger. It's a really cool way to like form a theme of a song and make like the vibe of it change throughout.
And now I'm sick, throwing fits, and yeah, I've seen you in my head every fucking day since I left.
Has he got like 11 minutes to save her or something? Feels like that's what's happening.
I'm 11 minutes away, so why don't you hear?
You're 11 minutes away.
Yeah, it seems like that's exactly what's happening. Gets up with 11 minutes to save her.
Now I see you standing all alone. I never thought the world would turn to stone.
I'm assuming like she's died in a car accident and this is him like kind of going through the 5 stages of grief around it.
Call me stupid, call me son.
Is he just not even gonna get up? That'd be interesting. Man, for that I would have found it really interesting if he just spent his time in bed. Maybe just didn't even bother with the whole thing. I just feel like that would have been a really cool illustration. I especially say that because like when it comes to grief, not everyone turns to alcohol or substances, but an overwhelming majority of people feel like helplessness and a lack of motivation to do anything. Which obviously it seems like they're touching on because he's not doing anything. I don't know if there's all that much I could say that I didn't already say during those songs, but overall I quite enjoyed him. He's not really like my favorite artist that I've reacted to on here, but he's good quality. And I especially like the subject matter that he delves into. He doesn't like shy away from any topics, and he just deals with them very bluntly, which is something I just think we can't really have enough of in the music sphere. It's funny because like I wish I was more into this music, but it's just not quite my thing. However, I would love to hear what you have to say. Do you like YUNGBLUD? Did you like those songs I reacted to? I always want to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to click that like button, and as always, have an awesome time until I see you next. See ya.